What's going on, everybody on YouTube? If you are stumbling on this video, you are probably wondering if you should try out Final Fantasy XIV online. Maybe you've tried it in the past, man. It was an alpha, or when A Realm Reborn came out. Maybe you tried a free trial and didn't think you got to play enough, or who knows? Maybe you've never played it. Maybe you've played a couple other MMOs. Maybe you've never played an MMO. And so typically a question that gets asked is, should I play and why should I play, right? Those two questions compared to maybe something else that you're playing. This game holds up really well for having been out as long as it has. This game has tons of content for new players, returning players, people who do pick up the free trial version. Can go up to level 60 with more than one job or class. You can get through the entire base story of the game, A Realm Reborn, the connecting quests that take you from there, from the story to Heavensward, and you can complete all of Heavensward, which is the game's first expansion, which is doubted as one of the better stories that are told not only in MMOs but in games in general. So you have a lot to look forward to in that regard, as far as if you're opting to play the game. I highly recommend picking this up if you are somebody who has never tried an MMO. The beauty of this game is it's crossplay between PS4, PS3, and it is playable on PC, of course, runs on a multitude of rigs. And with the crossplay, you can play with friends who maybe have the console version. On top of that, you can play with a controller if you so choose, which will allow you to have even more fun with the game if you're someone who maybe doesn't necessarily want to play on mouse and keyboard. So that's another reason to kind of look at the game. What the game does well in a lot of ways is making the game's combat feel very kind of intuitive and hands-on, whether you're playing a healer class, tank class, or a DPS. It also has content here for solo players if you want to play by yourself, if you want to play co-op with a couple buddies. The only part of the game that really struggles is that its PvP is really, really bad. So I don't recommend this game's PvP, but I do recommend its endgame content. The raids are outstanding. They are very well put together. They'll challenge you. They'll make you feel rewarded. And again, for those solo players, the story alone is enough for you to get invested in and go through the game, level up, enjoy these flashy Final Fantasy single player like cutscenes, with a robust cast of fully fleshed out characters, with your character that you create as the lead. Speaking of the character creation, it is very well done. A lot of different races to pick from, a lot of different hairstyles, body different changes, etc. And you can customize further in game with different armor, different glamour to make pieces of armor look like other armor, so you can really create a unique you within the game space as you play. So I really gotta hand it to Square Enix. If you want a self of identity, if you want a game that you can play for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hours, you've got a perfect product here. And with the free trial being so well fleshed out, you're probably going to get minimum, I would say, if you really dig into the free trial, somewhere around 150 to 200 hours of content before you'll feel like, okay, maybe I should buy at this point. It is a game with a monthly fee. I think on the low end you can pay $12 a month if you want to just have one character. You can pay the standard $15 a month and get more characters and access that way, but the $12 a month is more than enough for a person who's going to make one character, play, and go. As far as accessibility, when you make your character or characters, the game works off of the idea of having data servers and then a server underneath that. So there may be one branching here and then an umbrella of servers underneath, and what's nice is all those servers can play together for content and go cross server to play together and have a wave of fun without feeling limited, so that even more players than a traditional server cap can get together, and you don't have to feel like you're hostage. My buddy's on XYZ, you're on 1, 2, 3. You guys may still be able to connect if you're, again, under that umbrella. The game does offer server transfers if you want to pay for them. You can pay to recreate your character for a different look. You can also pay to skip story content if you want. You can pay to jump to I believe it's level 70, and the cap right now is level 80 with almost every job that's available. And the beauty of that is, one of the biggest struggles that new players may have, it's one of the ones I've had, is that A Realm Reborn is not exactly the most fun story to go through. You gotta remember that this game was created quite a while ago, and that can in fact be a pain in the butt. That some of the older content is definitely starting to show its age and wear. And so if I had to recommend something for a person to do if they're going to spend money right out of the gate, it might be to skip that, watch a YouTube cutscene or two on what the hell happened in that portion of the story. There's a lot of whack quests. Delivering onions doesn't feel very epic, so it's up to you. Don't mind the black bars on the side. I play on 1440p, so all the game's cutscenes like this are displayed for a 1080p, but then the gameplay reverts back to full screen when I play, so it doesn't affect too much, and that's just to make things not look distorted and weird. There's certain games in 1440p that can look quite off depending. So I've loaded up a fight with Garuda, one of the more basic fights that you fight towards the beginning of the game in Realm Reborn. The mechanics aren't crazy, but it gives you a little flair for the music in the background and kind of gives you that Final Fantasy flavor and shows you some of what makes this game unique and special. If you're coming from a game like World of Warcraft, you can expect a lot of similarities as far as doing daily tasks to kind of level and get further in. You can expect to explore new areas and have fun that way. And it's a constantly kind of evolving world. Again, there's really nothing I can say that's poorly done in this game, in my opinion, except that the PvP is, it's butt shit. There's no way around it. The PvP is bad. It's an afterthought. The tab mechanic for targeting is never going to pick what's close to you. Left clicking is, you know, something you don't want to do in an MMO to actually target stuff, and unfortunately for you here, you're going to be doing that in the PvP to even have a remote chance. It becomes quite frustrating. So you're still probably going to do it for a daily quest or two just to get it out of there. It gives great experience. It gives certain unique armor and things, but if you're someone who enjoys maybe the PvP of something like a World of Warcraft or Guild Wars, for example, this isn't going to scratch that itch. This is definitely a PvE focused title, and that's what keeps people coming back. The game has 3 expansions, so that's another thing that you can expect is a lot of story-driven content, new areas, tons and tons of different kinds of bosses and dungeons to unlock and do. You're really gonna have a hard time running out of stuff unless you play thousands of hours, or you opt to skip and buy and skip all these things that we're talking about. And again, the only thing I could recommend skipping is that Realm Reborn initial. If you're having a hard time struggling with it, you have money available and you're like, man, I want to get to the good stuff, maybe that's one route you go. Or play the game in spaced out chunks like I did to avoid getting burnt out from the shitty parts, which that's the only shitty part, again, because it's older. I'm playing a tank class. This is, again, a really simple fight. I don't have to think much about it. Enmity is pretty easy to hold. If you are going to start out in the game, as far as what might be fun for a class or job, a lot of people enjoy Summoner out of the gate. A lot of people enjoy Warrior. That's kind of your only path to go as far as if you're going to play a tank class. It is kind of what it is. As you get further in, some of the funnest ones that people enjoy are Dancer. Dancer is a blast, one I can recommend for DPS. I enjoy Gunbreaker for the tank, And if I was going to pick a healer, I'd honestly just stick with White Mage. It's the tried and true. It's basics. It's easy. Keeps you focused. Your group appreciates you, but don't feel like you're pigeonholed to not play specific things because I told you not to in this video. No, just play whatever you want and have fun with it. If we come over here, we can see the duty finder. You can take kind of a look at, these are some of the daily things, but we can just run through a look at how many things you unlock. This is the basic ones from Realm Reborn up to level 50, and I don't even think I've unlocked everything there. You start scrolling through here. I know I definitely haven't unlocked all the dungeons in Heaven Ward. Same for Stormblood. If we pull that back up, I've only done a few chunks of them. There's so many more to unlock that I haven't even done, but this is a good starting place if you're looking for things that you can get in. I believe I have like 250 hours played, I would say at this point, maybe coming up on 300, but not a max of amount of things that we've done. The game is very customizable. It works on a multitude of different displays, different setups. Again, scales very well whether you're on a lower end rig because it was first on PS3 and also on PS4. So, and it scales up. It can look very, very gorgeous. Like if you look at my character model here, he looks pretty badass, and the environments start to shine. As you get into the further expansions, the environments become much prettier. You're going to see some really incredible sky boxes and enemy details and amazing boss fights that'll blow your mind. Soundtrack's great. Again, voice acting is top notch, so expect a fair amount of voice dialogue cutscenes. The only hindrances in a Realm Reborn, there aren't as many of them as there should be. They're reworking through some of that content. But for the price of free $99 to jump in right now, I highly recommend the game. WoW heads who have been avoiding this one, definitely get into it before maybe some more new content comes out. And as a final note, the Shadowbringers expansion and DLC has been touted as some of the best storytelling in games. I believe last year it won a ton of awards as the best story, even though it's just an MMO expansion. It's very well done. Often people will tell you that Shadowbringers is not only the best thing that Final Fantasy XIV Online has to offer as far as story, but one of the best, if not the best, Final Fantasy game story ever told. So take that for what you will. I hope you guys try out the world of Eorzea. I've been having a blast. Feel free to drop comments when you started playing, if you're thinking of playing, what kind of questions you may have. This is just coming from me to say it's a big recommend. Get out there, give it a shot, and then feel free to sub to the channel if you enjoyed the content. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.